The knight's tale begins with Theseus, the prince and future Duke of Athens. After conquering the Amazons, he married their queen, Hippolyta, and brought her and her sister, Emily, back to Athens. Upon his victorious return, Theseus encountered a group of women dressed in black, wailing by the roadside. The eldest woman, the widow of King Capaneus, who had perished at Thebes, pleaded with Theseus for justice. She revealed that Creon, the tyrannical ruler of Thebes, had refused to allow the proper burial of their husbands, leaving their bodies in a heap. Moved by their plight, Theseus vowed to avenge them. He gathered his armies and marched to Thebes, where he defeated Creon. While disposing of the bodies, his soldiers found two wounded young knights, Arcite and Palamon, royal cousins. Theseus spared their lives, but imprisoned them in Athens for life. From their prison tower, they both saw Emily in a nearby garden and fell deeply in love with her. Palamon compared her to Venus and prayed for escape, while Arcite declared he would rather die than not have Emily. The two knights argued bitterly, each accusing the other of betrayal. Their quarrel was interrupted by Pirithous, a childhood friend of Theseus, who had come to visit. Recognizing Arcite, Pirithous persuaded Theseus to release him, on the condition that he would never be seen in Theseus' kingdom again. Though free, Arcite despaired at his inability to pursue Emily. Palamon, still imprisoned, envied Arcite's freedom, imagining he might raise an army to conquer Athens and win Emily. 2 years later, Arcite had a dream, in which Mercury, the messenger god, urged him to return to Athens. Disguised as a humble servant named Philostratus, Arcite went back and found employment in Emily's household. His charm and skills quickly earned him a place in Theseus' court. Meanwhile, Palamon spent 7 years in the dungeon before escaping. His plan was to flee to Thebes, but fate intervened. One day, while riding in the woods near Athens, Arcite lamented his love for Emily aloud. Palamon, hiding nearby, overheard and revealed himself. The two former friends swore to fight to the death over Emily the next day. The following day, armed and ready, they met in the designated place. Coincidentally, Theseus, Hippolyta, and Emily were hunting nearby and came upon the fighting knights. Upon learning their identities and the cause of their duel, Theseus initially sentenced them both to death. However, the pleas of Hippolyta and Emily softened his heart. Instead, he proposed a grand tournament. Arcite and Palamon would each gather 100 knights and fight for Emily's hand in marriage. Theseus commissioned the construction of an opulent stadium for the event, complete with temples dedicated to Mars, Venus, and Diana. As the tournament day approached, Palamon enlisted the help of Lycurgus, king of Thrace, while Arcite secured the support of Emetreus, king of India. The night before the battle, each prayed to their respective gods. Palamon prayed to Venus for victory in love, asking to die if Arcite were to win Emily. Venus's statue shook, signaling her favor. Emily prayed to Diana, goddess of chastity, to remain a maiden, or if that were impossible, to marry the one who truly loved her. Diana's statue wept blood, and the goddess appeared to Emily, telling her she would marry one of the knights. Arcite prayed to Mars for victory in battle, and the goddess statue whispered victory to him. Mars and Venus then quarreled, but Saturn assured Venus that her wishes would be fulfilled. The tournament began with strict rules set by Theseus to prevent mortal injuries. Both sides fought fiercely. Archite and Palamon clashed brutally, with Archite ultimately overpowering Palamon. As Theseus declared Archite the winner, a sudden earthquake caused by Pluto frightened Archite's horse. Archite was thrown off and mortally injured. On his deathbed, Archite spoke to Emily, expressing that Palamon would be a worthy husband for her. His last word was Emily's name. Theseus then gave a speech, often referred to as the first mover speech, which pondered the inevitability of change and fate. After honoring Archite with a grand funeral, Theseus arranged for Palamon and Emily to marry, ensuring the tale ended on a hopeful note.